My name is Toriro Chikwanda. I am 28 years old, and I was born in Harare, Zimbabwe. I grew up in a small, warm neighborhood in our busy capital. My family is very important to me. My father was a school teacher who loved to tell stories about our country's past, and my mother was a nurse who cared deeply for everyone in our community. I have one older brother, Tinashe, who is kind and funny, and one younger sister, Nyasha, who is curious about everything. I also spent many happy hours with my grandparents. My grandfather was a skilled carpenter, and my grandmother was a storyteller and a poet. Their gentle words and wise advice helped shape my love for learning. Childhood memories. I remember my childhood as a time full of laughter and discovery. Every morning, I would wake up to the aroma of Seja and Medora, a meal that brought our family together. My mother and grandmother would sing traditional songs as they prepared breakfast. After eating, my friends and I would run outside to play. We played soccer in the dusty fields, laughing under the bright African sun. I remember the warm, red earth beneath my feet and the green trees that swayed in the gentle breeze. These simple moments filled my heart with joy. Sometimes after school, I would sit with my grandparents on the veranda. My grandmother told me stories about the ancient Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe, and my grandfather explained how our land was shaped by mighty rivers and vast savannas. I began to see the beauty of geography in every hill and valley around me. I'd also listened to my father's lessons on history. He would explain how our people had lived for many centuries, and how every event, even the small ones, made our country who we are today. These memories of family, nature, and stories remain with me and inspire me to learn more about the world. Experiencing Zimbabwean culture. In Zimbabwe, culture is everywhere. I learned to wear traditional clothes during festivals and celebrations. On special days, I would wear a colorful dress with bright patterns, and we would dance to the sound of mbira music. Our festivals were full of life, with music, dance, and traditional foods. We celebrated events like Independence Day with parades and community gatherings. I loved the feeling of unity and pride when everyone came together to honor our traditions. Food is a big part of our culture, too. I enjoyed eating sadza with nyama, meat, and vegetables. We also had local fruits like mangoes and bananas that were sweet and refreshing. Our home was filled with the aromas of cooking, and each meal was a chance to share stories and laugh with loved ones. These experiences taught me the importance of community and togetherness. A changing world. Growing up, I saw many changes in Zimbabwe. Sometimes the news spoke about political events and economic difficulties. I remember hearing about the challenges our country faced, such as changes in government and the struggle for fair opportunities for all. These events made me feel both worried and determined. I saw how difficult life could be for many people, especially for women who had to fight for education and respect. Despite these challenges, I always believed that learning could bring change. I also developed an interest in many subjects that helped me understand our world better. In school, I loved history because it told the story of our people and our land. Geography showed me how our rivers, mountains, and plains connected us to nature. I was fascinated by philosophy and often asked simple questions like, why do we do things this way? And what is the meaning of our traditions? Sociology helped me see how our communities worked and why people behave in certain ways. I even started to learn a little about linguistics and literature. I listened to my grandmother's poems and read simple stories that taught me about language and art. These subjects opened my eyes and filled me with dreams of a better future. The desire for change. From a young age, I wanted to make a change. I dreamed of studying more and learning many new things. I wanted to understand the arts, the humanities, and the sciences. I believed that education was the key to a better life for me and for my community. I knew that with knowledge, I could help solve some of the problems I saw around me. However, my journey was not easy. My family did not have a lot of money, and sometimes I had to work in small jobs after school to help pay for my books. I often studied by the light of a small lamp because we did not always have electricity at home. There were many times when I felt afraid or unsure if I could continue. But I remembered the words of my grandmother. Learning is like planting a seed. With care and time, it will grow into a strong tree. Her words made me strong, and I promised myself that I would never give up. A transformative event. One day, something happened that changed my life. I was in my final year of secondary school when I heard about a scholarship for students who wanted to study humanities at the university. I was very excited because this was a chance to learn about history, philosophy, sociology, linguistics, and literature, all the subjects that I loved. I decided to apply, even though I felt nervous and uncertain about my future. I worked very hard on my application. I wrote an essay about the importance of learning in building a better society. I talked about how the history of Zimbabwe, our geography, and our culture had taught me to see the beauty in our everyday life. I explained how philosophy helped me ask important questions and how literature and linguistics made me see the magic in words. I shared my dreams and my desire to help others through education. After many weeks of waiting, I received a letter. My heart beat fast as I opened it. The letter said that I had been awarded the scholarship. I felt a rush of joy and relief. I ran to my parents, and they hugged me tightly. My father's eyes were full of pride, and my mother cried happy tears. My brother and sister cheered, and even my grandparents clapped their hands with delight. In that moment, I knew that all my hard work was worth it. The journey of overcoming challenges. Receiving the scholarship was a turning point. I left my small neighborhood and moved to a university in Harare to study humanities. The first days at the university were both exciting and scary. I met many new people and learned many new ideas. My classes in history and sociology made me think about the past and how it affects our present. I learned about ancient civilizations in Africa and how our land and its geography had shaped our culture. I studied philosophy and asked questions about life, society, and the meaning of our traditions. I also read books on literature and linguistics, and I marveled at how words can paint pictures in our minds. At the university, I met a kind professor named Mr. Moyo. He taught history and often told us, "Our past is the root of our future. If you understand it, you can help your community grow." His words touched me deeply. I also made friends like Chipo and Tende, who shared my love for learning and our culture. We often met in the library to talk about our dreams and the challenges we faced. We discussed everything, from the beauty of our traditional dances to the difficult political events that affected our lives. There were times when I felt doubt. I missed my family, and the studies were hard. I felt alone in a big city far from the familiar sounds of my neighborhood. One cold evening, I sat by my window in my small apartment. I remembered the warm evenings with my grandparents, the delicious smells of home-cooked meals, and the songs of our people. I wrote in my journal, "Every day is a new chance. I am learning, I am growing, and I will make a difference." That simple sentence gave me hope. Learning through the humanities. My studies were full of moments that changed me. I learned that history is not just a list of dates and names, but the story of human life, full of struggles and triumphs. I studied geography and learned how our land, rivers, and mountains connect us to nature. I learned that our physical world influences our culture and our way of life. Philosophy helped me see the world in a new way. I learned to ask questions about life, fairness, and justice. I wondered why some people had many opportunities while others did not. Sociology showed me how people work together in communities and how our traditions keep us strong even in hard times. I learned about the power of language through linguistics and literature. I read simple poems and stories that made me see the beauty in every word. These subjects not only filled my mind with knowledge, but also my heart with hope. A new beginning. After completing my studies, I decided to return to my community. I wanted to share the knowledge I had gained and help others grow. I started teaching at a local school, sharing stories about our rich history, the beauty of our geography, and the lessons from philosophy and sociology. I taught my students simple poems and stories from Zimbabwean literature, hoping to inspire them to see the magic in their everyday lives. Every day in my classroom, I saw young faces full of hope. I told them, "Your education is a powerful tool. With learning, you can overcome any challenge and build a better future." I shared my own story of how I worked hard even when times were difficult, and how I learned that every problem can be solved with patience and determination. I also started a small community group where we discussed ideas from history, geography, philosophy, and literature. We met in the evenings under a big tree in our neighborhood. There, elders shared stories of the past, and young people talked about their dreams. We discussed how language and literature can bring people together, and how understanding our history can help us build a fairer society. These meetings became a place of hope, learning, and friendship. Reflecting on my journey. Looking back, I see that my life has been a long journey of learning and growing. I have learned that even when life is difficult, education and community can make a big difference. I learned that my roots in Herrera, my family's love, and our rich culture gave me strength. I learned that every subject I studied, history, geography, philosophy, sociology, linguistics, and literature, helped me understand the world and myself better. I now see that every challenge I faced, every moment of doubt, and every small success led me to where I am today. I am a teacher, a mentor, and a learner. I believe that learning is a journey that never ends, and every day is a chance to grow. I want to inspire others to believe in themselves. I want them to know that even if you come from a small neighborhood in Herrera, you can reach great heights with hard work, hope, and education. Inspiring others. Today, as I walk through the busy streets of Herrera, I remember the sounds of my childhood, the laughter of friends playing soccer on dusty fields, the gentle songs of my mother and grandmother in the kitchen, and the wise words of my grandfather. I see the busy markets, the colorful clothes, and the vibrant art that fills our city. I see a country that is full of history, rich traditions, and endless possibilities. I have learned that our history and culture are treasures that we must protect and share. I have learned that geography shows us how connected we are to nature and to each other. I have learned that philosophy and sociology help us ask important questions about life and society. And I have learned that linguistics and literature bring beauty and understanding to our everyday words. I share my story with anyone who will listen. I tell my students about the days when I studied by a small lamp because electricity was scarce, and about the hard work I put into every lesson. I tell them about my dream to help my community, and I remind them that every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. I want them to know that education is not just about books. It is about understanding life, respecting our history, and building a better future for all. A reflective ending. My journey has transformed me. I have grown from a curious child playing in the dusty streets of Harare into a woman who values learning and the power of community. I have learned that every day brings a new lesson, and that our culture, our art, and our human sciences are the keys to understanding the world. I now see life as a beautiful story that we write with every step we take. I have learned to listen to the voices of my ancestors, to look at the geography of my land with wonder, and to ask questions that lead to wisdom. I have learned that history teaches us the importance of remembering, that philosophy helps us seek truth, that sociology shows us the strength of unity, and that linguistics and literature reveal the magic in every word we speak. I hope that my story will inspire others to follow their dreams, to study hard, and to never give up, even when the road seems difficult. I want every young person in Zimbabwe and around the world to know that their background does not limit their future. With education, hard work, and love for one's culture, every dream can become a reality. This is my story, a story of hope, change, and the power of learning. I am Tariro Chikwanda, a proud daughter of Zimbabwe, and I carry the voices of my family, the beauty of my culture, and the lessons of the humanities in my heart every day. May my journey remind you that every challenge can be overcome, every dream is worth pursuing, and every new day is a chance to start again.
Zimbabwe is a landlocked country located in South Africa, bordered by Zambia to the northwest, Mozambique to the east, South Africa to the south, and Botswana to the southwest. The country boasts a diverse geography that includes savannas, mountains, and rivers, with notable sites like the Zambezi River and Victoria Falls. As of 2023, Zimbabwe has a population of approximately 16 million people, characterized by a rich tapestry of cultures and languages, with Shona and Sindebele being the most widely spoken. The vibrant cities, such as Harare and Bulawayo, are bustling hubs of economic and cultural activity. The Great Zimbabwe civilization, flourishing from the 11th to the 15th centuries, is a testament to the ingenuity and architectural prowess of ancient African societies. Located in present-day Zimbabwe, this remarkable city was known for its stunning stone structures, particularly the Great Enclosure and the Hill Complex, which showcase advanced construction techniques without mortar. As a major trading hub, Great Zimbabwe played a crucial role in connecting African societies to the trade networks of the Indian Ocean, exchanging gold, ivory, and iron with merchants from far-flung regions. Its significance lies not only in its architectural achievements, but also in its representation of cultural identity and the sophistication of pre-colonial African civilizations. The colonial era marked a pivotal transformation in world history with the arrival of European explorers. Figures such as Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama opened new routes that connected Europe to various parts of Africa, Asia, and the Americas. This exploration led to the establishment of colonies, fundamentally altering the landscapes and societies of indigenous peoples. Colonization introduced new technologies, religions, and political systems, often accompanied by violent conquests and the devastation of local cultures. Indigenous populations faced significant disruptions to their way of life, including displacement, forced labor, and the introduction of diseases to which they had no immunity. The legacies of colonialism continue to affect these societies, influencing their contemporary social, economic, and political dynamics. The mid-20th century witnessed a significant rise of nationalism across various regions of the world, fueled by decolonization, economic struggles, and a growing sense of identity among people. As colonial powers weakened after World War II, countries in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean began to assert their independence, often sparking nationalist movements. Leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi in India and Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana emerged, promoting the idea of self-determination and unity. In Europe, nations formerly under the control of empires sought to reclaim their cultural heritage and political autonomy. This period saw both peaceful protests and violent uprisings, highlighting the complex interplay of nationalism with existing political structures. Ultimately, the rise of nationalism reshaped political boundaries and led to the creation of new nation-states, as well as influencing contemporary global politics, echoing in today's debates over national identity and sovereignty. The liberation struggle refers to the multifaceted movement aimed at gaining independence from British colonial rule, which dominated many regions across the world, particularly in Africa and Asia. This struggle was characterized by a series of protests, uprisings, and organized movements that united people against oppression and the quest for self-governance. Key figures who emerged during this period included Mahatma Gandhi, who advocated for nonviolent resistance in India, Nelson Mandela, who fought against apartheid in South Africa, and Jomo Kenyatta, who played a crucial role in Kenya's push for independence. Their contributions not only galvanized their nations, but also inspired similar movements globally, emphasizing themes of justice, equality, and national identity. Independence achieved, the 1980 independence of Zimbabwe marked a pivotal moment in the nation's history, ending decades of colonial rule and racial discrimination under white minority governance. The significance of this independence went beyond the political arena, igniting a sense of national identity and pride among Zimbabweans. Robert Mugabe's rise to power came as the leader of the Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU, a liberation movement that played a crucial role in the struggle against colonial oppression. Following independence, Mugabe became the country's first prime minister and later its president, representing hope for many, yet leading to a complex legacy marked by economic challenges and political strife. This moment in history reflects both the triumphs and trials of a nation seeking to forge its future amidst the remnants of colonialism. Following independence, many newly formed governments encountered significant challenges in establishing a stable economy and political system. Economic issues included the need to rebuild infrastructure, address unemployment, and manage inflation. Politically, these governments often grappled with establishing legitimacy, creating inclusive governance structures, and navigating the demands of various interest groups and ethnic divisions. The balance between maintaining national unity while promoting regional autonomy became a delicate task. Furthermore, external pressures and the legacy of colonialism added to the complexity of the governance, as leaders sought to forge new identities and relationships on the global stage. Land reforms have been a pivotal and often controversial element of economic policy in various countries. These programs are designed to redistribute land from large landowners to the landless or smallholder farmers in an effort to promote equity and improve agricultural productivity. While proponents argue that such reforms can empower marginalized communities and stimulate economic growth, critics highlight the potential for political unrest, loss of investment, and disruption of farming practices. The consequences of land reform can be profound, leading to shifts in social dynamics, economic stability, and even nationwide conflicts depending on how the reforms are implemented and received. Historical examples, such as the land reforms in countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, illustrate the complexities and risks involved in enacting such policies. Since the ousting of Robert Mugabe in 2017, Zimbabwe has undergone a significant political transition. The rise of Emerson Mnangagwa marked a shift in leadership, yet challenges persist regarding governance, economic instability, and human rights. The promise of reform has often been overshadowed by allegations of corruption and electoral irregularities, raising questions about the legitimacy of the current administration. Additionally, societal challenges such as poverty, unemployment, and access to basic services continue to plague the nation. Citizens are increasingly demanding accountability and transparency from their leaders as they navigate these pressing issues. Zimbabwe's historical journey has been marked by a rich tapestry of cultural heritage, colonial struggles, and a quest for independence, resulting in a complex landscape of both triumphs and challenges. The country's fight for freedom, its significant natural resources, and its vibrant communities offer a foundation to build upon. As Zimbabwe navigates the future, it faces opportunities to strengthen its economy, embrace sustainable development, and foster unity among its diverse population. The resilience of its people and the potential for growth, if harnessed wisely, point towards a brighter horizon. Reflecting on Zimbabwe's past while strategically planning for the future will be essential in ensuring prosperity for the next generations.